I had a chilling effect. But this goes beyond, obviously, me or even academics. This goes to workplaces, because people that work in hospitals, people that work in factories, people that work in schools, teachers, high schools, elementary schools. If you don't toe the line, if you speak condemning Zionism, you will be publicly humiliated. You will be punished. I'm getting death threats daily now. We know who you are. We know where you are. I'm having fingers pointed at me when I'm just walking around. There's that Zionist Hamas supporter. I actually had two Zionists walk behind me in the encampment the other day. Follow me in. Professor Abdou, you're the terrorist sympathizer, aren't you? And then one has the gall to say to me, accompanied by, and I didn't even see who the other person is, you can imagine, because if I turned around, I mean, that's the idea. I'm being videotaped, recorded secretly, and so on, and all of it is being plastered on social media. But one said to me out loud, "Oh, what do you think about the fact that my friend is a former IOF soldier and killed Palestinians? How does that make you feel?" This desire to solicitate, of course, rage, anger from a brown man, a Muslim man, because of the consequences of capturing that on video. There's lots to this insofar as the character assassination. We see it with our black siblings. We see it what happened to Michael Brown, to George Floyd, to Breonna Taylor, to Sandra Bland, and it's this ongoing. It's not like we're done with the anti-black sort of infrastructure that informs, again, also the settler colonial society, right? So this is what we're contending with: non-academic governmental actors. But it goes beyond McCarthyism. In my humble opinion, it's very much, again, anchored to what we started off and speaking to insofar as Islamophobia. And to emphasize why, because that is ingrained within domestic policy, that is ingrained within foreign policy. We're talking about a society that establishes secret black sites exclusively for Muslims, not for Jews, FBI surveillance of mosques, not synagogues. We're talking about state legislators that function upon the targeting of Sharia laws, if it's a monolithic sort of uh, uh, um, set of laws, despite the fact that it's sort of the corpus of all Islamic adjudications, jurisprudence that have occurred over 1,444 years. That there is no monolithic Sharia law, right? But people are out to legislatively, politicians and otherwise, because of the scare that Islam causes, to explicitly ban it, right? Not Talmudic law. This is what I mean: the immigration bans on Muslims, the U.S. government funding of counter extremism programs, right? And this is not just within the U.S. We see the confluence of Arab Gulf monarchies. I mean, Arabic media has been reporting on this, right? And I'm already red flagged in Egypt. And I don't know the consequences should I have to go back at this point. I mean, my livelihood, my career, have what I was supposed to or meant to do, I believe, in terms of my expertise, I can no longer practice that. I can no longer be with my students. I can no longer learn from them, at least in the interim period. And this is what makes this so challenging. Insofar as my case, and even the lies that were cast, as they were cast upon Stephen Shalaita, who is sort of possibly the first case of a Palestinian who was targeted in the University of Illinois, and sort of that broke so many barriers and so many walls. And I'm so grateful for his support and solidarity amongst many, particularly students, you all, and others. But yeah, and Joseph Mashad, a colleague, an elder in so many different ways. The lies that were cast upon him, that he was called into meetings, that he was warned, he was censured. None of that had happened. A fellow colleague, Kayem, who was actually, I believe, in the School of Public Policy. I mean, I don't want to misspeak. I could look it up, and forgive me, and may your audience forgive me. But his contract was not renewed, and he was banned from continuing to teach. Why? Because he taught about settler colonialism, literally because of that term. It's a scientific, discursive, materialist, historical sort of concept. There are area studies, there are comparative settler colonial studies, there's literature. Like this is a point of conversation now that we're having on settler colonialism as a legitimate term because it's being used in the context of Turtle Island and it's being used in the context of Zionism.